Time Management, Boost Productivity, and Get Things Done. Written by Bradley Banks. Narrated by James Allen. Introduction. If you ask the average person on the street what they wish they had more of, the vast majority would say they wished they had more time. We all desire more time because in the ever-changing, fast-paced world we live in today, time seems to fly by faster and faster. The result is that most people have more tasks and obligations to perform than they have the time needed to perform them in. Unfortunately, there is no magic wand or ancient spell that can slow time down or create more time out of thin air. There are, however, certain proven methods as to how you can increase the efficiency of your time. These methods collectively form the discipline known as time management. When you apply time management to your daily life, you will reclaim vast quantities of time lost to simple mistakes and bad habits, providing you with the one thing everyone wishes they had: more time. This book will explore numerous techniques that will help you manage your time effectively, making you more productive and efficient as a result. By the time you finish reading this book, you will have all the tools you need to ensure you never feel short of time ever again. Chapter 1. Break Bad Habits. When it comes to developing any skill set, the first thing you need to do before forming good habits is to break the bad habits. After all, it's usually the bad habits that are keeping you from achieving the success you both desire and deserve. Therefore, by breaking them, you automatically improve your situation even before you have begun to develop any new skills or habits. The very same thing applies to time management. While most people think that if they had more time, they would be able to get more done, the truth of the matter is that their bad habits can cause them to squander any amount of time they have. This chapter will reveal some of the costliest bad habits in terms of time management, showing how they steal valuable time from you each and every day. By breaking these common habits, you will be able to reclaim untold amounts of time, enabling you to be infinitely more successful as a result. Eliminate distractions. One of the most important elements when it comes to accomplishing any task is the ability to focus. The more focused you are on something, the better your results will be. Unfortunately, in a world of digital media, cell phones, and countless other forms of distraction, it is becoming ever more difficult to remain wholly focused on any one thing at a time, regardless of how important it is. In fact, the things that appear relatively harmless can actually prove to be the costliest in terms of time wasted. This is why it is vital to eliminate distractions in your environment when it's time to get down to business. An excellent example of this is social media. It may seem quite innocent to pick up your phone and check your messages, media pages, or email accounts to see the latest news and gossip from your friends. After all, it only takes 5 minutes to check up on the world. Unfortunately, that innocent 5 minutes can really add up, and it happens so subtly that you might never even realize it. Numerous studies have discovered that the average person can spend several hours a day checking social media. More often than not, 5 minutes turns into 10 or 15, and when you repeat that multiple times a day, you wind up losing 2 or 3 hours without even noticing. Therefore, it is vital that you turn off your cell phone when you sit down to work. At the very least, turn off any notifications or alerts that would tempt you away from your important tasks. This simple trick alone can help you to recover 2 hours of valuable time every single day, time that will make a world of difference when it comes to your productivity. Although social media is probably the biggest problem when it comes to distractions, it is not the only problem by far. Televisions, radios, and even non-essential items in your work environment can cause your mind to wander from the task at hand, reducing your productivity in a serious way. While it can be helpful to listen to music in the background, any talk shows will cause your mind to shift focus from what you are doing to what you are hearing. Therefore, if you need background noise in order to relax while you work, it is vital that you play music rather than podcasts or the like that will distract your attention. Additionally, any television needs to be turned off, as it will only detract from the focus and attention you are paying to the work you need to accomplish. Put an end to multitasking. Another common habit that needs to be broken right away is that of multitasking. The biggest problem with multitasking is that it has been considered a positive skill set in terms of increased productivity and time management. In fact, many companies still ask people applying for a job if they are effective at multitasking. The reason is that it was believed that by performing 2 or 3 tasks at a time, a person would prove more productive and efficient than someone performing only one task at a time. While on paper this might make sense, the reality is quite different. Numerous studies have shown that people who multitask take far longer to complete each task they perform, resulting in less productivity all around. A good way to understand the flaw in multitasking is to imagine you have to accomplish 3 tasks: mow the lawn, wash the dishes, and go grocery shopping. Any sane person will pick one task and perform it to completion before moving on to another, because each task requires you to be in a specific place doing a specific thing. Imagine if you used multitasking in this scenario. This would see you go to the grocery store and put a few items in your cart, then run home and mow a few laps around the yard before running inside and filling the sink with water, only to jump in the car and return to the grocery store. Needless to say, it would take 10 times as much time and energy to accomplish your chores in this way as it would if you simply stuck to one task at a time. This is obviously a huge exaggeration, but it makes a valid point. The truth of the matter is that your mind needs to shift gears when going from one task to another, much the way you would have to shift physical location when going from mowing the lawn to grocery shopping. Each time your mind shifts gears, it has to start from scratch, building up focus and momentum on the new task. This not only takes more time, but it also adds stress and fatigue into your mind, making the tasks harder than they have to be. Studies have shown that the productivity of someone who multitasks is as much as 15 to 20% lower than someone who focuses on one task at a time, seeing it through to completion. Additionally, multitasking saw an increase in errors and a decrease in overall quality in the tasks performed. Thus, not only does multitasking eat up valuable time, it also undermines overall performance. Budget your efforts. The final bad habit to break is to stop treating time as an infinite resource. One of the most critical mistakes countless people make is that they fail to budget their time and energy. This causes them to take on more projects than they can handle, which in turn causes them to fall behind schedule. More often than not, such people claim the problem is that there are only 7 days in a week, or that there are only 24 hours in a day. This is one of those cases where even if a person was able to wave a magic wand and create an 8th day in the week, or a 25th hour in a day, they would still fall behind as they will continue to take on more work than they can handle. A good way to understand this is to switch time for money. If a person takes on more and more expenses without considering the amount of money they have to spend, eventually they will go broke, or even worse, go into crushing debt. This is because money is a finite resource, at least for the vast majority of people. Therefore, in order to avoid going broke or getting into serious debt, the responsible person will budget their money. The result is that they carefully consider how much something costs before agreeing to take on that expense. If they have the money to cover the cost, they can agree to it. However, if they realize that it is beyond their budget, then they turn it down, knowing it will cause more harm than good. Therefore, in order to improve time management, and thus productivity, it is essential that you stop taking on more tasks than you have the time or energy to complete. The easiest way to accomplish this is to budget your time the way you would your money. Keep close track of how many tasks you already have on the proverbial plate so that you know how much, if any, time you have to spare. If you know that you are maxed out, then you need to simply say no when it comes to taking on new tasks. However, if you have room on your plate for 1 or 2 more projects, then you can take them without issue. The important thing to always remember is that although time may be infinite in the grand scheme of things, the amount of time you have is actually limited, and that is the measure you must use when determining how many tasks you can handle. Chapter 2. Create a schedule. Time management is a key element of efficiency. As you manage your time better, you become more efficient, enabling you to produce better and better results. However, time management is but one element of efficiency. Another equally important element is organization. The more organized you are, the more efficient you will become. In the end, all of these elements work together, like spokes in a wheel, each propelling you forward as one leads to the next. Therefore, in order to increase time management, one of the most important things you can do is to organize your time. The most effective way to accomplish this is to create a schedule. When you create a schedule, you take charge of the time you have each and every day, thus enabling you to get the most from that time. This chapter will discuss some of the best methods for creating a schedule that will transform your time management skills in a real and positive way. Establish a daily routine. Fortunately, When it comes to creating a schedule, the hardest part has already been done for you. This is the part that divides the infinite scope of time into smaller, more manageable segments. Hours, days, weeks, and months are all established measures of time, meaning that the structure for creating a schedule is already in place. All you have to do is organize your efforts within these measures of time. This is the art of establishing a routine. Of all the routines you can establish, the most important and life-changing is that of the daily routine. Creating a daily routine is the foundation upon which all other time management is built. Furthermore, the most successful people all rely on daily routines to help them stay in control of their lives, thus enabling them to achieve the success that they enjoy. Therefore, in order to improve time management and achieve greater levels of success, it is critical to establish a daily routine. The first aspect of a daily routine is your sleep schedule. This is absolutely vital for a number of reasons. First, getting enough sleep each and every day is essential for success. Therefore, it is necessary to set aside a decent amount of time for you to get the rest you need. If 8 hours is what you need, then you need to ensure that you go to bed early enough at night so that you can get 8 hours of sleep before your alarm goes off the next morning. Furthermore, you need to follow this routine on your days off as well as your work days. The temptation of sleeping in on a day off will only rob you of valuable time, as well as prevent your body from being able to get into the habit of waking up at the same time each and every day. The next step to creating your daily routine needs to be setting aside time for yourself to do the important things that keep you fit and strong. Meditation, exercise, allowing yourself enough time to prepare and eat a healthy meal are all critical activities that you need to be doing every single day. By structuring your day to ensure all of these things are done, you eliminate the wasted time caused when you don't know what to do next, or you wind up spending so much time on one task you don't have enough time for another. Furthermore, when you establish a daily routine, you create the mindset that sees time as manageable. This will help you to structure your time throughout the day, including at work, school, and the like, where it can feel as though time is in control of you rather than the other way around. It will also help you to avoid losing massive amounts of time to distractions, such as watching TV, playing video games, or any other activity that can eat up valuable time in a dangerous way. Discover your peak time. Another vital element of time management is the ability to allocate the right time for the right tasks. A common mistake many people make is that they assume 1 minute is the same as any other and that you can accomplish any activity at any time during the day. Unfortunately, this notion is about as far from the truth as you can get. The fact of the matter is that your energy levels fluctuate dramatically all throughout the day. They dip before such things as going to bed or eating meals, and they rise after waking up or after you have digested your food. It stands to reason, as our bodies rely on rest and food in order to function. Therefore, it is vital that you determine your peak times during the day, times when your energy levels and concentration levels are at their highest. Those are the times when you need to schedule your most pressing tasks. By determining your peak times, you can increase the efficiency of your efforts exponentially. One reason is that you can ensure that you tackle the hardest projects when you have the most energy available for them. Numerous studies have shown that about 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Subsequently, 20% effort tends to be the most demanding. Unfortunately, most people push the most demanding tasks back as far as they can, tackling the smaller, easier tasks first. This results in them tackling the most important tasks when their energy levels are at their lowest. Needless to say, this significantly reduces the results they are able to achieve. However, when you tackle the tougher tasks when you are at your peak, then you have more energy and focus on achieving them with, making them easier to accomplish and ensuring the best results possible. Another way determining your peak times will increase efficiency is that it prevents you from becoming exhausted by the end of the day. When you leave the hardest tasks for last, you wind up addressing them when your energy is at its lowest. As a result, those tasks drain you of all the energy you have left, leaving you exhausted and useless afterward. Alternatively, when you tackle the tough projects at peak times, they won't drain your energy as your levels are higher. The energy you have left after finishing the tough tasks will be more than enough for the easier tasks left on your list. When you approach it this way, you find that your energy actually gets restored by the end of the day, allowing you to go home feeling fresh and ready to enjoy the evening ahead. Not only will this give you more energy to accomplish your goals outside of work, it will also improve your quality of sleep, guaranteeing you wake up fresh and rested every single morning, ready to conquer the day ahead. Creating larger schedules. Since each day is largely the same, consisting of 24 hours in which you usually have the same task load to face, creating a daily routine is an effective way to manage your time overall. However, there will be times when your days aren't quite the same, meaning that a daily routine may not be enough on its own. A prime example of this is when you have a day off. Although the times you wake up, go to bed, eat, and exercise may remain the same, you won't have to put in 8 or 10 hours at work, meaning you have a large chunk of time unaccounted for. As a result, in addition to establishing a daily routine, it is also necessary to create larger schedules. This will allow you to manage your time under any and all circumstances. One area where creating larger schedules proves effective is that of projects. Most people have projects they need to tackle that require more time than is available on a daily basis. Such things as painting, home repairs, or even tasks such as mowing the lawn often require time that isn't readily available on a workday. However, days off contain more than enough time to tackle these projects, and this is where larger schedules come into play. When you create a weekly schedule, you can manage your free time in a way that ensures you have the time you need to get those big projects done. Setting aside one day a week to hit these projects still gives you a whole day to play and relax while also preventing those tasks from being neglected. This keeps your productivity up without making you feel overwhelmed. It also provides you with the feeling of being in charge of your life in a way most people only ever dream of. Monthly schedules are another valuable tool for projects or goals that require long-term effort. For example, you might be ready to start looking for a new job. One of the things that keep many people from achieving this goal is that they decide they will look for a new job when they have the time. Unfortunately, the right time rarely comes in this case. Instead, there is always something that needs to be done, some project, task, or obligation that comes out of the blue. However, when you set a deadline to achieve your goal, you force yourself to take action in the here and now. In this case, you might set aside one day a week to accomplish the goal of finding a new job. The first day might be dedicated to updating your resume. The next day might be spent looking through the classifieds. The next spent on filling out applications, and the final one on following up on those applications, increasing your chances for getting an interview. Therefore, setting monthly schedules to achieve your goals is a crucial way to ensure not only that you set aside the time you need to get things done, but that you use the time you have to achieve the goals that will transform your life, giving you the success and happiness you deserve. Chapter 3. Organize your life. Once you have organized your time, the next step is to organize your life. Most people waste vast quantities of time as a result of being disorganized. A perfect example of this is when a person spends 5 or 10 minutes just trying to find their keys before running out the door when they are already behind schedule. While 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there may not seem like much, those small increments can add up fast, accumulating to an hour or more of wasted time by the end of the day. Similarly, when a person fails to organize their task load, they wind up wasting time running from one task to the next with no real order or purpose. This is another area where 5 or 10 minutes can be lost by performing redundant tasks or failing to group like tasks together. Again, while there is no magic wand to create more time on a given day, there are ways to reclaim lost and wasted time. This chapter will reveal the ways in which organizing your life can restore hours of precious time each and every day, thereby giving you an immeasurable edge in your life. Organize your space. Most people have a designated workspace where they perform most, if not all, of their work-related tasks. Recent trends have seen more and more people working from home some, if not all, of the time, making this space even more troublesome when it is left unorganized. The bottom line is that the average person loses as much as 1 hour per day simply looking for tools or items that they need to perform any given task. Therefore, although organizing your workspace may not seem significant with regards to time management, it can, in fact, prove one of the most important things you can do in order to increase the amount of time you have at your disposal. The first step to organizing your space is to eliminate all unessential items. At first, this may seem like an extreme measure. one that will make any workspace dull and boring, thus impacting your morale in a very negative way. However, the simple truth is that clutter can create far more stress and anxiety than it actually resolves. The bottom line is that anything in your workspace that isn't a necessary tool for the tasks you need to accomplish is clutter. This includes everything from extra pens that you don't need at the moment, stress balls, decorative items, extra office supplies, old manuals, and the like. Simply put, if you aren't currently using an item in your current daily routine, then that item needs to be elsewhere. That doesn't mean you have to throw away extra office supplies or the like. Rather, it just means that you need to keep them in a drawer or cabinet where they won't clutter up your immediate working space. This type of organization also applies to your computer. Anyone who uses a computer for work will invariably see their tools folders or drop-down menus begin to grow over time. Eventually, it becomes harder and harder to locate the tools you need as the list becomes ever larger. This can lead to wasted time hunting for the proverbial needle in a haystack. In order to increase efficiency and thus reclaim valuable time, you should always remove any tools or folders you aren't currently using from your immediate work area. Placing such items in a secondary folder is a good way of moving them without eliminating them. After all, just because you don't need a program in the here and now doesn't mean you won't need it down the road. Organize your tasks. The next step to organizing your life is to organize your tasks. Again, the time and effort taken to shift from one task to another can add up quickly, amounting to an hour or more depending on the nature of the tasks at hand. However, if you take the time to organize your tasks in such a way that enables you to perform all similar tasks together, you can save a lot of that time, giving you more time to be productive. For example, if you had to make your bed, fold your clothes, wash dishes, and cook dinner, the best way to go about achieving these tasks would be to fold your clothes and make your bed while you were in your bedroom, and wash the dishes and cook dinner while you were in the kitchen. If you do these tasks randomly, you wind up running back and forth from one room to another, taking longer to get the same task load done. While this particular example won't amount to much lost time, it still gets the overall point across. A more practical example would be in terms of grouping similar tasks at work. Things such as checking email, voicemail, and any other messages should be done at the same time. This is because they require a similar mindset, specifically one that is able to go from one small item to the next in rapid succession. Setting aside time for such tasks also ensures that they get done each and every day without fail, and that you don't have to stress about remembering to do them as you are trying to focus on other tasks that require more time and attention to accomplish. Another way to group tasks is to group them by geography. In other words, if you have to get up from your work area to get office supplies, ask yourself if there is anything else you need to do away from your desk. Visiting a coworker, a boss, or the like could be done at the same time, thus reducing your need to leave your area to as few times as possible. This eliminates the feeling of chaos that comes from having to constantly stop what you are doing to leave your area and attend to other issues. By addressing all of those issues at once, you can have more time at your workstation to focus on the other tasks you need to perform. Not only does this reclaim valuable time lost to a lack of organization, it also reduces stress, thereby making you more productive and effective as a result. Purge on a regular basis. Finally, there is the element of purging. This is the next step of organizing your space. The first step was to remove unnecessary things from your immediate work environment. This includes actual tools for your job, such as extra office supplies or computer tools you aren't currently using. However, the space you place these non-essentials can begin to get out of hand over time if you don't purge on a regular basis. This means that you will have a hard time locating those things when they become necessary again. Therefore, it is essential that you purge on a regular basis. A good example of purging can be found in your social life. Contact lists tend to grow and grow as you make more and more friends. However, over time the chances are you lose touch with many people on that contact list. This is where purging can play a vital role in keeping you organized and efficient. Once a month, you should go through your contact list, whether it's on your phone, in your email, or wherever, and delete any names you haven't actively used in a given amount of time. You might use a time frame such as 90 days, thereby removing any fears that you might miss them once they are gone from your list. The chances are, if you haven't spoken to someone in 3 months, they aren't going to be a significant part of your life anymore. The end result is that instead of scrolling through dozens or even hundreds of names to find the one you need, You can reduce those numbers to a fraction, making it easier and faster to find the people who matter. This same method can be applied to everything from computer programs to manuals, extra parts, or anything else that just never became relevant to your needs. When you take the time to purge your extra space of items that clearly will never see the light of day again, you prevent the accumulation of junk that can rob you of vital space and time. This will also eliminate the stress and anxiety that comes from the feeling of overload, whether it is information overload on your computer or phone, or an overload of items in your workspace. In the end, it all works together. Organizing your space frees up time, makes you more efficient, and reduces stress, thus improving your life in every way. Chapter 4. Overcome procrastination. When it comes to achieving goals, accomplishing tasks, and fulfilling dreams, few things are as devastating as procrastination. A lack of resources, including money, time, or energy, can be overcome by waiting until those resources are more readily available. However, procrastination comes down to a lack of motivation, and that is something that can go on indefinitely for any number of reasons. In the end, the constant putting off of a task or project can result in failing to bring that task or project to completion. Not only can this keep a person from accomplishing ordinary tasks in their life, it can also keep them from pursuing their dreams, thus robbing them of a life of happiness and fulfillment. Fortunately, there are several methods for overcoming procrastination that are both proven and simple. This chapter will discuss a few of these methods, providing real-life examples as well as insights on how overcoming procrastination can help you to finally create the life of your dreams. Hit the hardest tasks first. One of the main causes of procrastination is a lack of energy. This energy can be physical, emotional, and even mental. More often than not, however, it is usually a combination of all three. In any event, when you feel unmotivated to tackle a given task or project, it becomes all too easy to put that task or project off for another time. Unfortunately, the more you do this, the easier it gets, making it less and less likely that you will ever find the will to get the particular task or project done. The best way to overcome this form of procrastination is to hit the hardest tasks first. It can be all too easy to want to tackle the easiest tasks first, as they require less effort, and they usually prove to be the most enjoyable tasks. Unfortunately, as the day progresses and your energy levels begin to wane, those bigger tasks only become more intimidating. Not only does this make them even less appealing, it can actually make them harder to accomplish. However, if you commit to hitting the hardest tasks first, you give yourself numerous advantages. First, you ensure that you tackle those hard tasks when your energy levels are at their highest. This will provide you with more focus, stamina, and confidence, all of which will make the job easier to do. Second, by getting the big task done first, you eliminate the stress and anxiety that comes from putting it off until later. This means your day gets easier as it progresses rather than harder, completely transforming how you feel at the end of the day. Now, instead of feeling mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted, you feel accomplished and energized. Therefore, it is vital that you schedule your day in a way that allows you to hit the hardest, most demanding tasks first. In the event that you are putting off a project at home, such as painting, home repairs, or the like, the trick is to create a schedule that ensures you get to those tasks as soon as possible. For example, just as you would schedule the hardest tasks for the beginning of a day, schedule your big projects for the first day off you have in the month. This will allow you to get the project done and then be able to enjoy the rest of your days off doing fun things or tackling easier, smaller tasks. Additionally, when you set aside a day to hit that large task, make sure you get an early start. The later the start, the more likely you will be to put it off for another day altogether. Break down large projects. Sometimes procrastination can be the result of more than just a lack of inspiration. It can actually be the consequence of biting off more than you can chew. This is often the case when it comes to large projects, whether they are at work or at home. By looking at a large project as a single entity, it can make it seem almost impossible in scope and scale. The more impossible the project seems, the easier and more justifiable it becomes to put it off indefinitely. Fortunately, this form of procrastination has a very easy fix, namely, breaking down large projects into smaller, more manageable tasks. A good way to understand this is to consider a large project, such as painting a bedroom. Very few people ever discuss such a thing with excitement and enthusiasm. Instead, they tend to sound depressed at the thought of taking on such a large project. This is because the task as a whole is so large. However, when you break the large project down into smaller tasks, it becomes less intimidating and thus more desirable. The first task could be choosing the color you want to paint the room. The next task could be purchasing all the supplies and paint you need to get the job done. Next, you can take down all the items on the wall and store them in another room. Finally, you can cover your furniture and begin painting. Even the painting itself can be split into painting the trim on one day and the walls on another. Each of these individual tasks can be performed on a different day off, meaning you don't even have to give up entire days to get each task done. The best part of this method is that as you accomplish each task, you chip away at the project as a whole. This means that as time progresses, there is less and less left to do, which increases your motivation and confidence when it comes to getting the project done. Although some might argue that breaking large projects down like this means that it takes more time to complete them since you spread it out over a longer time frame, the bottom line is that the real difference is in getting the project done at all. Sure, on paper it might only take a day or two to paint a room. However, when you only give yourself a day or two in which to get the project done, the chances are you will put it off as long as possible, as you won't ever want to actually face that day. Therefore, taking a month to get a project done that might never get done otherwise is an investment of time that will prove more than worthwhile. Useful procrastination. Although procrastination is detrimental to progress, there are in fact some forms of procrastination that can prove useful. These forms are the ones that serve as warnings, telling you that you lack certain things that are essential for getting a task or project done. The trick here is to differentiate between bad procrastination and useful procrastination. Fortunately, this is fairly easy to do, requiring you to do no more than step back and ask yourself why you are putting off the project at hand. In the case of bad procrastination, your answer will usually be a lack of motivation. In short, you simply don't feel like doing it. However, in the case of useful procrastination, your answer will be more significant, often providing you with insights that will prove very valuable in the end. The same example of painting a room can be used to demonstrate some aspects of useful procrastination. While many put off such a project simply because it doesn't sound like fun, the fact is that there may be other legitimate reasons for doing so. One such reason might be the expense of the project. Paint and painting materials aren't always cheap, and the cost alone might be enough to make you put off painting a room time and again. In this case, you can choose to put aside a little cash every week or two, giving yourself a goal to reach. Once you reach that goal, then you can purchase the supplies you need without worrying about the cost. Another reason might be the fact that you don't have any experience when it comes to painting. The last thing you want to do is botch a job as massive and significant as painting a room in your house. If you don't feel capable of the project, then you will avoid it at all costs for as long as humanly possible. However, once you realize this is the reason, you can take steps to resolve it. One thing you can do is take the time to watch videos and read articles online, thereby giving you the instruction you need to boost your confidence. Another thing you might do is ask a friend who has experience to help with the process. They may be able to give you instruction, or better still, they may be willing to actually help you with the project. This will remove the stress of having to do something out of your comfort zone completely on your own. Therefore, there can be times when procrastination can act as a voice of reason, telling you to take the time to think things through. By taking the proverbial step back and evaluating the situation, you might just find there are steps you need to take before you are ready to tackle the project or task at hand. The important thing, however, is to make sure you actually do tackle the project once those steps have been taken. Only then can you make procrastination work in your favor, enabling you to grow stronger and thus accomplish those things that can transform your life in a real and meaningful way. Chapter 5. Increasing Productivity. The abstract nature of time is what makes it so difficult to manage for most people. When it comes to managing money, a person can increase how much they have by spending less or finding ways to make more. Unfortunately, when it comes to time, there really isn't a way to go out and make more. You can't get a second job and make extra time the way you could extra income. This is why it is important to ensure that you spend your time wisely to reduce or even eliminate any situation that serves to waste this all-valuable resource. One way to achieve this goal is to increase your productivity. By increasing productivity, you can free up time by spending less time to achieve your goals. This chapter will discuss several proven methods for increasing productivity, thereby ensuring that all of your time is well spent. Segment your day. One of the most critical elements when it comes to time management is your energy levels. This is particularly true in the case of productivity. If you try to accomplish a project or task when you have low energy, it will wind up taking far longer than if you approach the same project or task when your energy levels were higher. Subsequently, the key to efficiency is to make sure that you always maintain the highest energy levels possible. A simple and effective way to do this is to segment your day. Similar to breaking down a large project into smaller, more manageable tasks, when you break your day into smaller, more manageable segments, you keep your energy levels from getting completely drained. The best way to segment your day is to take numerous breaks throughout. This practice is contrary to the conventional belief that in order to be productive, you must work non-stop from the moment you clock in to the moment you finally clock out. Unfortunately, this practice of working endlessly, even to the point of working through lunch, proves counterintuitive when it comes to increasing productivity. The truth of the matter is that a person who takes a 10-minute break every couple of hours during the day not only has a higher rate of productivity, but their energy levels remain higher all day long, even after their workday is finished. Therefore, rather than putting yourself through the stress of working for 5, 6, or even 8 straight hours, get into the habit of taking a 10-minute break every hour or two, depending on what works best for you. When you take a break, it is vital that you leave your workstation and walk around. This will serve two main functions. First, it will get your blood flowing, which will serve to restore your energy levels to their maximum. You don't have to power walk or climb stairs to achieve this goal. A normal, relaxed pace will do the trick. The second function achieved by these breaks is a change of scenery. Getting out of your workstation will enable your mind to take a deep breath and regain its clarity. This is particularly true in the event you are working on a task or project that requires a great deal of focus and concentration. A fresher mind and restored body will enable you to resume your work at peak efficiency, enabling you to finish sooner than if you work straight through in spite of the time spent on your short breaks. Additionally, numerous studies have shown that the quality of work produced by someone who takes breaks is higher than that of someone who works without interruption. This is because fatigue is one of the main causes of mistakes. In the end, not only do those mistakes prove costly in terms of quality, they also prove costly in terms of the time needed to go back and fix them. Eliminate redundant activities. Another proven method for increasing productivity is that of eliminating redundant activities. This is particularly true when it comes to activities that only take a few minutes to perform. It can be all too easy to dismiss the significance of short, simple tasks when it comes to time management. However, it can be these very tasks that wind up stealing the most time from a person each and every day. Several studies have shown that the average person spends as much as 2 to 3 hours a day checking social media on their cell phone or personal computer. While some people may spend half an hour or more in one sitting, most only spend as little as 10 or even 5 minutes at a time. Even so, when they check social media 2 or 3 times an hour, it begins to add up. Suddenly, they're spending as much as 15 minutes an hour, 10 hours a day doing the same task again and again. This is how small, seemingly harmless tasks can actually prove devastating when it comes to lost time. A simple rule of thumb is to reduce the number of times you perform even the smallest and simplest of tasks. Everything from checking emails, phone messages, and even social media updates should be scheduled to ensure that you spend as little time as necessary on such activities. For example, you might choose to check emails and phone messages first thing in the morning to ensure you didn't miss anything that may have come through the night before while you were asleep. You can set aside a time in the middle of the day to check them again, thereby keeping up to date on any potentially important messages. Finally, you can check them again at the end of the day so that when you go to bed, you can rest assured that your inboxes are clean and clear. Even if you spent 2 or 3 times as long on each of these check-ins, you will still save significant time over the course of a day. If you spend 20 minutes each time, you will only spend 1 hour, as opposed to the 2 hours the average person spends each and every day. Needless to say, social media should be treated the same way. Checking your Facebook status or Twitter account can take up untold amounts of time when left unregulated. However, when you schedule your social media interactions to specific times of day and specific durations, you ensure that you aren't repeating the same activities over and over again, wasting untold amounts of valuable time as a result. A good rule of thumb for social media is to save it for the end of the day and integrate it into the time you would spend watching TV. The bottom line is that social media is a distraction as well as a way to stay in touch with the outside world. Since TV usually serves the same function, these two activities can be seen as redundant. Therefore, choosing one or the other will help reclaim vast amounts of time that can be used in a more productive manner. Delegate. Perhaps the best way to become more productive is to share the burden of your work with other people. Countless people fall into the trap of believing that they alone need to accomplish each and every step of a task or project, thereby taking on the entire burden. The fact of the matter is that working together with other people has been shown to increase productivity exponentially. This is because instead of having to take care of every single element of a project or task, you can focus on those things that you need to do and delegate the rest to others capable of taking care of the smaller, more mundane aspects. By doing this, not only do you save time by spending less time on each project or task, you also create the potential for taking on more projects and tasks, thereby increasing your overall results. Effective delegating is more than just pushing tasks onto the shoulders of others. It is choosing the right person for the task at hand. For example, if you have a presentation to give, instead of taking the time to create the content, type up the notes, and create any visuals, delegate the typing and visuals to people who are talented in those areas. By doing this, you can get your presentation completed in a third of the time while not adding any great burden to anyone else in the process. Most people would be willing to give 20 minutes of their time to help you out in a pinch. Therefore, instead of taking an hour to construct a presentation, you can spend 20 minutes creating the content and let 2 other people spend 20 minutes each completing the other elements. More often than not, the right people can shave even more time off, as a proficient typist can get a task that would take you 20 minutes done in 10 minutes or even less. This applies to any other aspect of a project where someone might need only a fraction of the time and effort to get the results you are hoping for. One of the biggest barriers to effective delegation is the perfection trap. All too often, people stop delegating tasks simply because the results are less than they would be if the individual did the task themselves. While perfection is a tempting goal, it is a futile one, seeing as it is rarely achievable, even under the best of circumstances. Furthermore, while a few typos on a report might be frustrating, they aren't the most important aspect of the report. If the content is perfect, the appearance won't matter as much. Therefore, always delegate the smaller tasks, even at the cost of imperfection. As long as you get the job done on time and effectively, those imperfections won't matter at all. Even better, when you're able to finish your projects ahead of schedule, producing more results than your peers, then those imperfections will actually pay off, making you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Chapter 6. Living Healthy. The final element to consider when it comes to time management is that of living a healthy life. Again, this is a matter of energy and how it can significantly impact how much you are able to accomplish in the time you have. In short, it all comes down to efficiency. When your energy levels are high, you are able to perform tasks more quickly and more effectively. Alternatively, when your energy levels are low, it results in you taking longer to perform tasks. It also leads to you making more mistakes, which can prove costly in terms of the time it takes to go back and make things right. Therefore, maintaining high energy levels is absolutely vital for anyone who wants to reclaim as much time as possible on a daily basis. The best way to accomplish this goal is to live healthy. Everything from the food you eat to the amount of sleep you get each night contributes to your energy levels. This chapter will discuss how to use these elements in order to increase your energy levels, and thus your overall efficiency in terms of both time and effort. Improve your diet. A common joke in movies or TV is for a character to take a shortcut in order to get somewhere in less time, only to wind up taking longer than if they had taken the conventional route. While this is funny to watch, it is less funny when it actually happens in real life. Although most people never experience the exact situation of having a literal shortcut backfire, they do experience other, more subtle shortcuts proving costly in terms of time and energy. A perfect example of this is the food you eat. Drive-through windows are the go-to when it comes to a person who is pressed for time and has more work to do than is humanly possible. Unfortunately, while fast food restaurants can provide food in a fraction of the time, the results can be far more costly than you realize. The bottom line is that the food served in fast food establishments is processed, filled with preservatives, heavy in fats and salt, and usually lacking in any real nutrition. Thus, while the food may satisfy your hunger, it won't actually provide the nutrients necessary for creating the energy your body needs to function at peak efficiency. Therefore, while you may only take 10 minutes to get and eat lunch by going through drive-through, you will lose more than the time you save by struggling through the day with low energy, a lack of focus, and a slower work rate than if you had taken the time to eat right. This is how a proverbial shortcut proves more harmful than helpful. In order to maintain your highest energy levels, it is vital that you eat right. This means eating foods rich in vitamins and nutrients, such as vegetables, leafy greens, and the like. Lettuce alone won't get the job done, so it is vital that when you eat vegetables, you take the time to eat ones such as avocados, beets, peas, beans, and the like, in order to get the vitamins and minerals you need. Additionally, protein-rich foods such as eggs, fish, beans, and white meat will help maintain high energy levels all day long. As opposed to sugary foods that give you a spike of energy followed by a crash, such things as an egg sandwich for breakfast will keep you energized for hours to come. Cutting out salty and fatty snacks will also help prevent your energy levels from crashing. If you get the munchies during the day, try eating trail mixes or other natural alternatives in order to ensure that you do more than just satisfy your hunger pangs. Another aspect to eating a healthy diet is the time of day you eat. Always make sure you eat at least 2 hours before going to bed. This will allow your body the time to digest before it shuts down when you go to sleep. Anytime you eat closer to when you sleep, your body fails to digest the food properly, turning most of it into fat as a result. Thus, food that would have become energy is simply stored as excess, providing no real value in the end. Additionally, rather than eating right when you wake up, eat just before you leave for work. The later you eat breakfast is the longer you can go before feeling hungry again. Furthermore, your energy levels will rise as you begin work, helping you to be more productive as a result. Exercise regularly. The next step to living a healthier life is to exercise regularly. This doesn't mean you have to go out and get a gym membership and start lifting weights. Rather, it means you need to take time each and every day to just get your blood flowing through your veins and the oxygen flowing to your brain. Even the simplest of things, like a 5-minute walk every hour or two, will go a long way to keeping your energy levels high, and thus your performance at peak potential. Another simple trick is to park further away from your workplace. When you give yourself the chance to stretch your legs and get the blood flowing before you sit down at your desk, you will feel fresh and full of energy, ready to face the day ahead. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator is another proven method for giving your body and mind a boost of energy when you need it most. Needless to say, the more exercise you get, the more energy you will have. Therefore, taking the time to fit a regular exercise regimen into your daily routine will go a long way to making you more efficient and thus able to reclaim time lost to sluggishness and the reduced work rate it can cause. Any exercise that gets the heart pumping and the blood flowing is ideal for increasing your energy levels. Thus, running, aerobic workouts, and anaerobic exercises are perfect choices. However, the time of day when you exercise can be as critical as the exercise itself. Exercising in the late evening, while convenient for many, won't provide the same results as exercising in the morning before work. The bottom line is that exercise increases your energy levels. Therefore, you should always exercise before the time when you need that energy the most. Getting up earlier in the morning may not be an easy thing to do at first, but once you start seeing the results of an early morning run in your work performance, you will realize that it is one of the most important things you can do. Another benefit of regular exercise is the impact it has on your stress levels. Stress, like fatigue, can significantly reduce your productivity, thereby robbing you of valuable time each and every day. In this case, exercising after work can have its benefits. However, instead of running or doing an aerobic workout, it is best to choose a more relaxing form of exercise, such as yoga or even meditation. While meditation may not be seen as an exercise as such, the results it can have on reducing, and even eliminating, stress and anxiety have been proven to be second to none. Therefore, incorporating yoga, meditation, or some other stress-relieving activity in the early evening can go a long way to improving your mental and emotional health, which in turn will increase your performance by eliminating the stress and anxiety that keep most people from reaching their true potential. Listen to your body. When it comes to healthy living, many people turn to books, blogs, and videos to learn what doctors and other experts have to say on the matter. While this is certainly a good thing to do, there is another source that most people fail to listen to at all, one that has a great deal of useful insights and advice. That source is their body. It can be all too easy to take your body's input for granted. After all, you hear it each and every day, telling you when you need to eat, when you need to sleep, and when you are in need of extra care or caution. However, when you learn to listen to your body and follow the advice it offers, you can increase your health and well-being in ways you never imagined. This will help keep your energy levels high, your stress levels low, and thus enable you to do far more with the time you have. The first thing you need to hear is your body's natural routine. This starts with your sleep cycle. Numerous studies have shown that when your body gets the sleep it needs, your energy levels increase exponentially, causing you to be far more productive than when you are suffering from sleep deprivation. The best way to determine your natural sleep cycle is to allow yourself to wake up naturally for a few days in a row. Obviously, this may require you to take a few days off, as you don't want to show up late to work. However, in the event you can't take time off, you can simply go to bed really early the night before and let your body wake up once it has had enough sleep, still keeping your alarm set just in case. The reason you should do this over the course of a few days is that your body will oversleep the first day or two, making up for being sleep deprived. However, after that phase, it will wake up after a set amount of sleep, one that only it knows it needs. Once you determine how much sleep your body needs, you can set your schedule to ensure you are well rested each and every night. The next thing you need to do is learn to listen for when your body says, enough is enough. Just as most Westerners are sleep deprived, so too, most are burned out in one way or another. Whether it's the result of working 10-hour days, working 6 or more days in a row, or some other demanding set of circumstances, most people have pushed their mind and body beyond their limits, resulting in low energy, high stress, and usually some form of sickness or fatigue to top it all off. The truth of the matter is that sickness, like fatigue, is the body's way of telling you to slow down. Although sickness itself is the result of germs, bacteria, or a virus, a healthy, strong body can usually fight off such threats. Therefore, when you get sick, it is usually the result of a weakened immune system, which is something that happens as the result of high stress, low energy, or a combination of the two. Thus, rather than working through the pain or pushing through the sickness, take a step back, slow things down, and let your body regain its health and vitality. Only then will you be able to perform at peak efficiency, thereby making the best use of the most valuable of all resources, time. Conclusion. Now that you have read this book, you have all the tools you need to begin managing your time more effectively. By breaking bad habits such as multitasking and getting distracted, you will ensure that the time you spend working produces optimum results. Additionally, by organizing your time and space, you will be able to reclaim vast portions of time lost as a result of disorganization and chaos. Recognizing the importance of energy will also help you to increase productivity, thereby enabling you to accomplish tasks and projects in less time than you ever imagined. Finally, by establishing a healthier lifestyle, you will gain the advantages of higher energy levels, lower levels of stress, and a general increase in overall health and well-being. All of these things will increase your performance, thereby saving you time and energy each and every day. The very best of luck to you as you begin the journey to better time management and all the advantages it has to offer. Thank you. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming along with me on this self-development journey. There are many investing books out there, but you decided to give this one a chance. If you liked this book, then I need your help. Please take a moment to leave an honest review of this book. This feedback gives me a good understanding of the kinds of books and topics readers want to read about, and it will also give my book more visibility. Leaving a review takes less than 1 minute and is much appreciated. This has been Time Management, Boost Productivity, and Get Things Done. Written by Bradley Banks. Narrated by James Allen. Copyright 2020 by Bradley Banks. Production copyright by Bradley Banks.